say like one thing, Contra. Actually, you know what, Contra? You go ahead first.
Yeah, like Jason actually puts out so much of that sort of damage output in that sort of sense. And even though if Zord wants to actually look for pickups, it's going to be very hard. Like you're going to be kicking big giant unit in towards your squishy teammates, which is definitely a no-go. Which I felt Resurgence with that Gushin pick is pretty much genius coming in. And of course, we see a lot of fights over the top side here as Arts, although he faltered, this is the first time that LY4 get busted down, so that's great movement coming from Geek Fan.
Yeah,
I think
overall. Go for it for us.
All right, so I think this is the fight. This is what a great pick by KZP over there, and of course Jason's feather airstrike always there to shut down the team whenever they need the damage. And of course LY4, you know, every single time towards the end of the game, he's just gonna devastate the opponents.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Faraz. And, you know, I'm being hypercritical, especially in the Grand Finals, because we can't afford to make these mistakes at such a high level. And, you know, Azora Vecchi was having a very difficult time predicting when to use the time journey there, because it's such an important spell. If he doesn't have it at the right time, it means that his team can't remotely win the team fight unless Zorn gets a pick. And, you know, he has to kind of play that mind game, and KZP really just got into their head.
That Geek Fan really understood what they needed with the very final tourist landing.
Yeah. Let's not forget that, you know, it was Vecchi's Terizla's penalty zone that saved them so many times. Here, Geek Fan tried so hard, but they got punished for being so aggressive.
Yeah, well, I think that's what matters the most here, because, like, Geek Fam understood that they knew that their composition was stronger at certain points of the game, and they took it full advantage of it. They even used the Arrival as a way to kind of blindside Resurgence, and because Resurgence didn't respect the Arrival, they ended up dying right here, which really set the pace of the game for Geek Fam. Like, they got so much tempo off of that one play that no matter what RSG had done at this point of time, plus the outplay from Dominus, it just became a very difficult game until Resurgence could, you know, hold out until the 41k mark.
I totally agree, and I think it's the penalty zone as well, and the teleport that helped, you know, the team. So penalty zone, you can see many of the fights here, not this one specifically, the next one, where LY4 couldn't actually go into the back lines and use his ultimate because of the penalty zone.
Yeah, that and a couple more things as well. Like, they try to actually go in for Dominus at a few attempts, and this is one of the attempts that definitely worked well, where Sigma did definitely get that sort of kill, but it's very hard to even get anywhere close. Like, the big problem that they need to face is also Zorn, that can actually bring them in it by the Fatal Links and towards that penalty zone itself, so they can't seem to actually escape out of that. So it became a pretty troublesome sort of a scenario for Resurgence to either really fully commit to that fight or just die right inside of those wombo combos.
Yeah, and you know, not to mention the wombo combos, but like just look at the design of the composition. There's many levels of which, like, oh, if this doesn't work, we've got an option B, we've got an option C. While Resurgence was a little bit more defined in terms of when they could be punished and what time can they pick their fights, because Geek Fam could essentially take any fight they wanted as long as they had their ultimates up, and Resurgence had no real way to kind of answer it other than to bait out fights, force Geek Fam to maybe use a couple of big ultimates, and then look to re-engage after Geek Fam's re-engage. So, you know, it's just another layer of complexity.
Yeah,
and of course, yeah, that seemed to be the major problem that they were suffering. Like, as of this instance, of course, they dove in, they tried to actually look for the kill over on the side of Jason. They did get that buff, but look at where Arts ended up. Like, this is just the start of it, where, of course, Becky get dove upon, and, of course, I would say they get dove upon, they were the ones diving right in. So, another mistake coming out from the side of Geek Fam here that costed 3 lives in this span of less than 3 minutes is definitely not really worth it. So, having a really bad start, they try to actually change things, but look at this. KZP, one big wall charge. Oh, hurts so much.
that was just unbelievable to watch. But Geek Fam actually came back towards the mid side of the game, and Azora Vecchi was a large part of it. Azora Vecchi essentially made sure that Jason didn't have a fun time. LY4 always had to worry about Azora Vecchi one-shotting him in the backline, like we could see here, and every single time until they could figure out, okay, we gotta worry about Azora Vecchi. We just have to force a front to front, and then look to get a flank angle with LY4 or maybe Sana. Because honestly, I think out of all the games, despite Sana ending the game at a pretty negative KDA, he was a very large part, the reason why Resurgence actually won, because his spatial migration into the backline was just too much.
Look at Sana over here. Look at how much HP she managed to get back after that fight. I genuinely thought the Guinevere is gonna die.
Yeah, like, I was at the brink of death until the Violent Recon came right in. It's like the big outplay that blew my mind. Like, I stopped for a moment right there. I was casting it, and I'm like...
To take the Kaja as well, you guys saw how much of an opportunity Kaja created for the side of Resurgence. And as Gideon mentioned early on, Geek Fam had the draft to be able to engage after Resurgence has caught them. But instead, at the Turtle, I think it's going to be shown right after here, they were the ones who went in first, where I don't think they should have.
Yeah, I just felt like Geek Fam definitely cracked under pressure. Like, in terms of draft, they could have actually thought it through a little bit better, and they had the option to pick either that sort of be Selena, like you said. Of course, they did went for it, but they gave up such a key sort of band that has been very consistent. And look at this, we talk about that Kaja. KCP walks in and out, and look at the amount of assists he gets every single time. Kills after kills after kills. Nothing much that Geek Fam can do. They are dispositioned every single time they get into those team fights.
Absolutely agree with you, Aaron. But you have to. We have to kind of like give some credit to Geek Fam here that they took a really big risk. They already lost the game against Resurgence. In their heads, they're just telling themselves something needs to change, and they went they went go big or go home. But unfortunately, this risk eventually led them to going back home here, because it's very contradictory to their playstyle. Like, Zorn is aggressive, giving him Mincetar. Yes, he can look for the picks. However, Mincetar is not an aggressive hero. He's not designed to be.
I think after watching these games, there's a couple of things you don't want to have with Resurgence. The Sylvana pick is super annoying. When the Sylvana is there in team fights, she can land the ultimate, and basically she's gonna stay there for a very long time because of the shield.